Okay, today we're here at Sloan Implement talking about the John Deere ExactEmerge Retrofit Kit, and these have been a really popular option for us over the past 4 or 5 years. And the reason for that is you can take an existing planter, and if that planter is something that's got it's a good 1770 or 1790 that's got that John Deere NT bar on it that's very reliable and has worked really well for a lot of years, you can put the new technology on that existing bar. So you don't have to buy a new planter or buy a new late model planter. You can take your existing planter and you can turn that into a late model planter that has all the newest and latest technology on there. So what we want to talk about today is, well, what do I get when I upgrade or do an ExactEmerge retrofit? Well, when I do an ExactEmerge retrofit, we also recommend doing the hydraulic downforce retrofit as well. Those are kind of two things, kind of like peanut butter and jelly, they go hand in hand. And if you do one, you really need to do the other. So the ExactEmerge retrofit is upgrading to John Deere's high-speed ExactEmerge planter seed delivery system as well as the meter. The hydraulic downforce is going to go right along with that, and that's the new downforce system to where you have a hydraulic actuator to make sure that you're holding that row unit firmly on the ground at those higher speeds in any and all conditions. So again, they're kind of like peanut butter and jelly. We need to make sure that if you're doing one, you need to be doing the other. So what do I get? Well, for model year 21, they've made a lot of nice changes to where when you order that ExactEmerge retrofit, they're going to do a lot more assembly than what they've done in the past. Before you kind of got the row unit in a box and you had to take it apart and put the sensors on it, and the hydraulic downforce came in a different box and you had to assemble that. So the assembly and the labor costs are significantly less than what they've been in the past. So really, when you order that, from right here, what we call the W bracket that bolts to the 7x7 tube, you're going to get from here back, you're going to get pretty much everything new with the exception of your gauge wheels and your closing system. So that would be the base kit. So you would get the new W bracket, you would get the hydraulic downforce actuator installed from the factory, you get new parallel arms with parallel arm bushings. Of course, you get the ExactEmerge meter, you get the brush belt, you get all the electronics that go with that. You would reuse your gauge wheel tires. You do get new gauge wheel arms. Now you can opt up and get new gauge wheels. So if your planter's got some age on it and you want to go ahead and maybe replace those gauge wheels anyway, you can go ahead and opt up to go ahead and get those gauge wheels with the kit. And then you would reuse your closing system. There is an option to upgrade to a pneumatic closing system rather than the T-handle with the springs. So that would give you the ability to adjust that from the cab and be able to make changes on the go to your closing system. So another option that is something that you can upgrade your ExactEmerge retrofit is with the Pneumatic Row Cleaners. Now the Pneumatic Row Cleaners, what they give you the option to do is be able to have adjustment from the cab to your row cleaner. So if you move from different conditions, you're in more firm conditions or you're in really mellow conditions, you can change the downforce or the upforce on those row cleaners so that you're doing a good job. You're not throwing up a windrow or something like that with the dirt by going too deep, or your row cleaners are up in the air and they're not actually doing their job. They're not really doing anything. We all know the frustrations of the changing the pins on some of those to get them set, or going back there with a manual tool to make those adjustments to get the row cleaner set, and then you move to a different condition. Then you've got 24 rows that you've got to go out there and manually adjust. What this option gives you the ability to do is make those adjustments from the cab on the go as you see necessary, right there on the monitor. So that's also one of the upgrades that we recommend. Again, it's not something that's a must do, but it's certainly something that really makes an enhancement to after you've done that ExactEmerge planter retrofit. So what's so exciting about the ExactEmerge retrofit? Well, it starts right here with our new meter. And with that new meter, it is a vacuum meter. And with that new meter, it has a completely different shape. So the disc is going to be more like a bowl rather than a flat disc. And what that meter gives us the ability to do is make the transition from the meter to push it into our brush belt. So once we do that, we take that off, go ahead and take our meter off. Then what we find our brush cartridge. So as it comes out of the meter, it's directly deposited into this brush, and then the brush goes ahead and takes that seed all the way down to the seed trench. Now it doesn't just carry it down to the seed trench, it also does it at the same speed of your forward travel. So what does that do for me? So if I'm taking that seed down at the same speed of my forward travel, when it makes the transition and turns and then it ejects that seed from the brush, it's ejecting it rearward at the same speed you're going forward, and it's doing it at a very close distance to the bottom of the trench. So if I'm throwing that seed backwards at the same speed that planter is traveling forward, I basically have a dead drop. So it's kind of almost like taking your fingers and dropping that seed approximately that far. So I don't have the bounce in the row, I don't have the roll. So in previous planters with seed tubes, if I was going forward at 5 to 6 miles an hour, as that planter moves forward, I drop that seed, it's going to have a tendency to hit the ground and then roll a little bit. So I have some inconsistencies in my spacing because of that roll. With ExactEmerge and this brush cartridge, throwing that seed backwards at the same speed you're going forward, that's going to prevent that forward roll. It's also going to prevent the bounce because I'm only dropping the seed a very, very small distance. So with ExactEmerge, again, I can go up to 10 miles an hour and I can get that perfect spacing because of the meter, which hands it off to the brush belt. The brush belt carries it down to the trench, and then it ejects the seed at the same speed backwards as what that seed planter is traveling forward. So what else do I get with an ExactEmerge retrofit? Well, we've talked about the meter and the shank and the gauge wheels and the hydraulic downforce, but you also get an entirely new electrical system. So again, if your planter has some age on it and you want to bring it up to new technology, you're not going to have to use the old wiring harness and those kinds of things that, you know, potentially could deteriorate over time. You're going to get a new wiring harness, completely new controllers, new sensors. All those things are going to be brand new. The only existing thing that you're going to reuse would be if you have the fold box in the cab and the fold system for your existing toolbar. Now again, with that, that's going to get you up to the latest and greatest technology. You're going to have basically a like new planter, or what I like to say, the business end of the planter is now new. Right now, John Deere has a 12% discount going on, and so right now is really the best time to get those orders in, and you know that's going to go on here through the rest of maybe the late summer here. But now is really the best time to take advantage of that 12% discount. And again, all the labor-saving things that we talked about in the previous video, where, you know, again, they've done a lot of the assembly ahead of time, and you're taking your existing planter, you're updating it to the newest and latest technology, and you're doing it at a significant cost to either buying a very late model planter or buying a new planter. And you're getting all new components, again, with the exception of your gauge wheel tire, which can also be added and upgraded, and you're going to reuse your closing system, which can also be upgraded to the pneumatic closing system if you so choose to do so at that time. But again, the ExactEmerge Retrofit has been a very popular option for us. We've sold a lot of them. It's been a very successful product. We've had very high customer satisfaction with this product, and we highly recommend taking a look at it. If you're in the market to upgrade your planter to an ExactEmerge, the ExactEmerge Retrofit is definitely an option that you should consider.